Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Quen here, and today I am memory planning for the week of February 28th through March 6th in my A5 wide cloud planner. I'll be using this Jaxandpepper's kit. It is really pretty. The name of it is The Moment. Really pretty, and I really love the colors. I've been really big on just doing things simple, so I really love the colors in this kit. I'll be pulling some florals from Alyssa's craft shop as well. Jessie tried to ignore the pain. Instead, she focused all her energy on the end goal and not the struggle to get there. Though her thighs were burning and her breathing was heavy, she pressed ahead, her eyes fixed on her destination, her driveway. After another 30 seconds, she was there. She dropped out of sprint mode and slowed to a walk. She pulled out her phone and hit stop on the time clock of her running app. It read 42:29. Not bad for 5 miles. That's just under 8.5 minute miles. She allowed herself a moment of pride. She was still a long way away from getting back to her 8-minute mile she ran in college. But she showed steady improvement in the recent months, and considering all the injuries she'd suffered in the last few years, from stabbings to gunshot wounds to multiple concussions and at least 2 strangling attempts, she thought she was doing pretty well. Jessie walked to the end of the block, allowing her breathing to return to normal. Her thoughts drifted to yesterday's seminar in criminal profiling at UCLA. It was one of her final ones before rejoining LAPD's Homicide Special Section full-time, and the vibe was bittersweet. Students, as they had for weeks, pleaded with her to reconsider. The post-lecture Q&A section ran longer than usual, as if the kids were hoping to squeeze out every last kernel of knowledge that they could learn from her. It was gratifying and a little depressing at the same time. She didn't want it to end. Jessie turned around and made her way back to her house, trying to shake off the gloom that came from knowing something so positive would soon be over. She had agreed to return as the request, more like pleading actually, of Captain Roy Decker, who ran the LAPD's downtown station and oversaw Homicide Special Section, the HHS. He told her that she could remain as a consultant rather than an employee, and continue to work with Detective Ryan Hernandez, who, in addition to being her semi-regular partner, was also her fiancé. Decker also offered her a huge jump in pay. Normally that wouldn't be the deciding factor, even without the job. A result of her divorce and inheritance from her adoptive parents. But with a wedding to plan and her sister's recent relocation, having the extra income couldn't hurt. Jessie reached the front door and began to scratch. She knew that worrying about current and future bills wasn't conducive to loosening her muscles, but she couldn't help it. Even though she didn't want some huge wedding, Ryan seemed insistent. The venues and vendors he was suggesting were all high-end and, of course, very pricey. It was increasingly a bone of contentions, one that she was getting tired of relenting on. And then there was Hannah. Jessie sighed at the thought of her. Her younger half-sister Hannah, now only weeks from turning 18, was currently a resident at the Seasons Wellness Center in Malibu. The unremarkable name made it sound like a place that might be an exclusive spa. It was certainly as expensive as one. After insurance, each week there cost a minimum of $7,000, and that was just the room and board. In fact, the place was an inpatient psychiatric facility that focused on those suffering from all manners of mental illness. I am not going to list the name of illnesses because I don't want YouTube to flag anything, but the common things. Hannah had checked in there voluntarily 2 weeks ago at the insistence of her therapist she shared with Jessie, Dr. Janice. Officially, she was there to deal with some diagnosis of doing things to herself, but that didn't accurately describe her circumstances. For months, if not longer, Hannah had been deliberately putting herself in dangerous situations that could end badly. She had admitted that normal human interaction mostly left her numb and emotionless. So she basically put herself in places like neighborhood bullies, creepy stalkers, drug dealers, pedophiles, and even some S stuff. All as part of a need to get a hit of adrenaline. Even if the feeling was fleeting, at least it was something. Then an elderly serial killer called the Night Hunter trapped Jessie, Ryan, and Hannah in a remote cabin. Jessie and Ryan managed to capture and subdue the man. But while he was handcuffed and unarmed, Hannah shot and killed him. She claimed it was a form of self-defense, a way to stop a man she knew would never stop, searching for a way to get at them, even from behind bars. Only later did Jessie learn that the real reason Hannah had murdered the Night Hunter was because she simply wanted to know what it felt like. As it turns out, she liked it. The act gave her a high she'd never experienced before, and she wanted to recreate it. In the weeks after she shot the Night Hunter in cold blood, she harbored fantasies of killing someone else in the hopes of recapturing the thrill of that moment. Oh, wow. When over a month later, Hannah finally revealed that to Dr. Liam, which is Dr. Janice. The doctor came up with the idea of sending her to Seasons, where she'd been ever since. In her time there, she'd participated in intense therapy sessions, both group and individual, as well as a couple of sessions with Jessie. Dr. Janice had also ordered everything from redirection therapy to brain mapping. All options were under consideration. Nothing was off the table. The goal was twofold. First, to help Hannah feel emotions without needing heating situations. And second, to eliminate her addictive desires to get a high from, to put it bluntly, hurting people. As Jessie finished up her final deep stretch, she recalled her last visit just 2 days ago. It wasn't a therapy session, just a casual visit, but it hadn't been particularly casual. Hannah wasn't in a very chatty mood. "Are you here to just rub my nose in my groceries?" she had asked. I don't know if I'm saying that word right, probably not. It had gone downhill from there. Jessie tried to shake loose of the memories as she opened the door to the house she'd inherited from her murdered profiling mentor, Garland Moses, and headed for the bedroom to undress and shower. She could hear Ryan grunting in the backyard and went that way to check on him. Her fiance was taking advantage of the mid-early March Los Angeles day, doing his rehab workout sessions outside and shirtless. Now over 8 months, recovered from being stabbed in the chest and spending weeks in a coma. He was about 95% recovered. He was currently doing squats while holding 40-pound dumbbells. Jessie admired him silently from behind the sliding glass door. His short black hair and dark skin gleamed in the sunlight. His normal, kind brown eyes fixed in concentration. Sweat poured down his muscled chest as he knelt down and popped back up, his calves rippling with the effort. Though Ryan wasn't vain, Jesse knew that it was important for him to regain the chiseled physique he'd had before being attacked. His 6', 200-pound body had always been a source of pride and a weapon he could use against the criminals he had came up against. His goal was to get back to where he'd been, and he was almost there. Once he finished his set, she tapped on the glass door and opened the door. "I'm going to take a shower," she told him. "You almost done?" "I've got about 5 minutes. I'll hop in after you're done." Jesse was tempted to suggest he finish up early and join her, but she knew he really wanted to get back to his full strength, and anything that interfered with that, even a mid-morning delight, was secondary right now. So she held her tongue and headed to the bathroom. Her running top was soaked through, and her black pants were starting to feel uncomfortably warm against her legs. She turned on the shower and gave herself a once-over in the mirror while the water warmed up. She was pleased to see that her 5-mile runs were paying dividends. She looked firmer than she had a few months ago, considering she was fast approaching her 31st birthday. She thought she was doing pretty well. Her long legs, which contributed significantly to her 5'10" frame, had regained much of the muscle tone they'd lost when she was recovering from her various injuries. Her shoulder-length brown hair was luxurious, and her green eyes glowed with energy. Despite the ongoing stressors in her life, she thought she was holding up quite nicely. And the furtive looks she got when she walked down the street seemed to confirm it. She showered quickly, aware that Ryan would be waiting for his turn. When she turned off the water and pulled back the curtain, he was there holding out a towel for her. "Personalized towel service," she noted. "To what do I owe the honor?" "I wish I could say it was just domestic kindness," he said apologetically, "but I'm here to move things along." "Why?" she asked. "Did it take too long? I thought I was pretty quick." "No," he assured, but while you were showering, we got a call from Decker. He has a case for us." "What is it?" she asked. He wouldn't get into particulars other than to say it was a murder. There was a murder at the Peninsula's resort in Palos Verdes. He wanted us to head up there ASAP. He'll update us en route." "Did he at least mention the victim?" "Nope. I asked, but he said he'd fill us both in when he called back in 10 minutes. When he expects that we'll be in the car. He said the police chief would be on the call too, so we better hurry." "He wants us on the road in 10 minutes?" she demanded incredulously. Ryan looked at his watch. "Not anymore," he answered. "Now we're down to 8. Jessie got out of the shower, still dripping wet, wrapped the towel around herself, and darted out of the bedroom to find something that would look professional and appropriate for the most exclusive resort in Southern California. And now she had 7 minutes to do it. Chapter 2. Jessie was annoyed. Decker had made them run around to get ready, and now he was late. By the time he called 20 minutes later, they were well on their way to Palos Verdes, a gorgeous oceanside community in the Southern California South Bay. Nestled between Long Beach and the beach cities, it was known for its craggy cliffs, amazing views, and 8-figure homes. Decker texted about 2 minutes before the call to tell them the delay was because the chief was finishing up another meeting. He didn't give them any warning about why the head of the Los Angeles Police Department wanted in on the call. Jessie was apprehensive. Her interactions with Chief Lard hadn't always been positive, especially when it briefly looked like he might fire both her and Ryan when they discovered police corruption in the Valley Division. Ryan was driving, so when his phone rang, he handed it off to Jessie, who put it on speaker and held it out between them. "Hello, Captain," he said. "Hernandez," Decker said treasurely. "Is Hunt there with you?" "Right here, Captain," she replied, trying to keep her nerves out of her voice. "Good. I've conferenced us in with Chief Lard. He wanted to be a part of this conversation. Will you like to begin, Chief?" "Why don't you give them the basic first, Decker?" Chief Lard said gruffly. "Once they know what they're dealing with, I'll offer my 2 cents. "All right," Decker said, then lunched in. Less than 45 minutes ago, a 44-year-old man was found dead in the steam room of the man's spa at the Peninsula's resort. His neck was tied to some kind of thin belt. Local police called it into headquarters as soon as they realized who the victim was: Scott Newhouse. Jessie recognized the name immediately and pulled up a photo of the man. So I feel like this is going to be a pretty good book. That was just me reading the beginning of it. The name of it is The Perfect Rumor. I will be reading it like on my own like terms, and then whatever page or chapter I'm on at the time that I get ready to upload a Plan With Me, I will be reading, that section or that chapter. So yeah, I hope you all enjoyed this video. If you did, please give me a thumbs up and please consider subscribing to my channel. Bye.